Alrighty, and we are live. Hello, hello, everybody, to Wednesday, April 16th, writing sprints here at Dabble with your host, myself, Doug Lansborough. And sorry for the little kerfuffle, and big thanks to JM for pointing out that this sprint setup was wrong. I hadn't had my coffee when I set them up this morning. That's it. I just hadn't had my coffee, so I must have mistaken the hours, and everything went awry. So thank you, and JM. In the first sprint, Metalver said, "I'm the MVP," but JM's the MVP today for catching that. So I dropped this refreshed sprint links in the chat, and if you have joined in the last couple minutes, then the ones underneath me should be working perfectly fine. If you joined before that, you might need to do a refresh. Let me say some hellos, starting from the top here. Hello to B and NJ and Metalver and JM, of course. And who else do we have in here with us? Aaron's in here. Hello. Gotta highlight no 0 days. No 0 days. Um, Excellent. I know we have Sarah in here as well. Hello, Sarah. And Shelly. Hello. And Elena. Hello, hello. And I think I've covered everyone that's at least chatted. If I didn't say your name and you have chatted, let me know. Say, Doug, why did you miss me? Why do you hate me? Otherwise, you can say hello if you haven't yet. But I saw some questions in the comments here as well, like NJ asking, when gamers game together, do you refer to them by their character or their handle or their name? And Metalver echoing the sentiment, usually by their handle or their real name if they're close. Yeah, and that's, as an avid gamer myself, that's how I would do it too. And then some talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's Elena's main character 17th birthday today. Yeah, let me know what you're working on, everybody. I just had a pivotal moment in my story where the secondary character who's helping my main character got a taste of what they're actually in for. We're coming up to the climax of the story. Got a taste of what they're actually in for, and she's not handling it well. So I'm going to be really dialing in on the emotions for that one. NJ asked, I was asked by a friend to enter a writing contest with them. Any advice? Just entering together. Advice about writing against a friend or writing in a contest, or a little more under 4,000 words, a lot of categories. The only thing you've ever written below that word count is poetry. We all know my feelings on small word counts. They are much more difficult, but they also force you to become a better writer by trying things that you're not used to. So if you have the time, you have the drive to do it, I think it's a great idea. You can also, even though you're technically competing, I guess, if it's a contest, don't co-write, but write alongside your friend, write together, bounce ideas off each other, encourage each other like we do here. Rosalinda, hello, welcome. All right, I'm going to share the first sprint link again, just so folks don't have to scroll for it. Now, the click here to go to the next sprint link at the top of sprint number 1 there, it will not work. It will bring you to the wrong one. I will share number 2 before we get started. And again, it should be right below me now if you're just joining us. But yeah, we're getting ready. I guess, how much time do we have? We have a whole minute here. Let me get my screen set up so that anyone who wants to judge me and make me feel self-conscious about the words that come out of my head during this writing can see and do so. You'll note that I put some notes down already just to get my mind going. I've been in revision mode a lot lately, so really need to take a few minutes here to get back into drafting mode. So yeah, let me know what you're all working on. And yeah, for anyone joining us or anyone watching afterwards and just using this for accountability, we are here for 3 20-minute sprints with 5-minute breaks in between. We'll chat during those 5 minutes, answer any questions. I have this thing that I want to talk about, or at least get you all thinking about, and we'll mention that in the next break, if I remember. But otherwise, we're just here to help keep each other accountable, cheer each other on. 10 seconds here. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to get my music going, and I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Bye for now. All right, folks, that is our first sprint done. Let me pause my music so that I'm not distracted and bopping away back here. How did we all do? I saw that Susan and Renee are joining us for the second one. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. Better to have you for two than for none. And schedules and real life and stuff. I get it. Okay, you can't spend all your time with me. How sassy. I'm going to share the link to the second one here before I forget and do all the administrative stuff that comes with hosting these fun events. Let's see how we did. Aaron got 14 words written and a page of the nano draft edited. I love to see that. B got 590 words, Rosalinda 183, Shelly 303, JM 363, Sarah 180. Excellent work, everybody. I mentioned before that there was something I wanted to bring up just to get your minds going. And if you've taken one of the courses over at W Campus, or if you've been to any event where I have the opportunity to speak about this, I strongly advocate for you to consider being meaner to your characters than you probably are, because in the stories that we write, the meaner you are, the more opportunity there is for growth and change and failure and learning and eventually success, right? And this is this is someone wore his sassy pants today. um this is super important, and I think writers early on in their career don't do this enough. And I mean, I'm writing my seventh book now. And even I find myself not being mean enough to my character. So in my original outline for this secondary character, I just had her believing my protagonist about this curse, or at least, my protagonist said, "This is what I suffer from, this is what I'm enduring, and this is what I need to do." And the friend's like, "You sound, kind of out there, but I'm going to help you anyway because I love you." Now I kind of pantsed my way into this scene during one of our sprints last week, where the secondary character, this best friend, gets a direct glimpse into the horror that our main character faces, and it's directed at her. And so completely off the rails, like not something I planned for, because I planned on being nicer to this character. And instead, now that I've been exceptionally mean and quite cruel actually to the character, I can now take that and use it as a source of conflict in this character, between my protagonist and the secondary character, straining their friendship, making things just different. And it gives me more to play with because I decided to be mean. So that's the little nugget of wisdom I wanted to pass on today, is just be cruel, be be mean to your characters. Now, I also write dark fantasy and horror, so like I can be meaner, or I have different ways of being mean to a character, but make the pursuit of love more difficult, make the job promotion more difficult to get to, have someone have a betrayal in there. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Okay, let me catch up here because I've just been ranting at the camera. uh, Elena got 185 and Metalver got 557. Excellent. Uh, too powerful. I don't need sassy pants. Let your characters learn the hard way so your readers don't have to. Absolutely. B saying life is mean enough. See, and as someone who writes the darker stuff, and I have a minute here before we start, let me actually get this up so that I can just transition right over. But as someone who writes the darker stuff, you might say, the world is already kind of crummy. We don't need all of this horror and all this bad stuff happening. But it's through that bad stuff happening, and it's through the adversity that you show your characters that when they succeed and when they do good things and when they accomplish their goals, it's more inspiring. And it forces people to think that the situation that they're in now can be overcome. Right. And so life is mean enough, but it's through us being mean, uh, as NJ said, let your characters learn the hard way so your readers don't have to. Be mean to the fictional people so the real people can benefit from it. Push them off the edge, pull them back up. B. Yeah, exactly. Sarah, run with that betrayal. I want to see it. And as betrayal coming up. All right, I got 5 seconds here. I'm switching over to author mode. I'll see you in 20 minutes. Happy writing. All right, everybody. That is our second sprint of the day done. Let me pull that off, get my face back up here for you all, and grab that third and final link for the day before I get too caught up in everything here. Bear with me and let me know how you did in the chat there. Sometimes I'm the most tech savvy person in the world. Sometimes I just click the wrong buttons. There we go. That link is coming your way now. I see Rosalinda got 168, and Renee got 161, and Sarah got 119, and B got 554, and JM got 250. Matulver 426, and Shelly 164. Excellent work, everybody. Let me scroll back up and see what's going on in the chat. JM, I'm writing a psychological horror right now. Very cool. And my protagonist's only friend is going to end up nearly being killed by the protagonist. Losing a friend, they also introduced the protagonist. I love it. I love it. Just, I mean, okay. Just so it's not taken out of context, I don't love when people almost die. I don't want anyone getting that idea. But I like playing around with those kinds of emotions because those traumatic events are just a gold mine for us to play with our characters, right? And to bring out the most genuine and most visceral reactions from them. All right. Yeah, Rosalind is saying 160s were popular that time around. And NJ saying, I want to make a deck of cards called the Stick of Destiny, filled with ways of smacking your characters when you get too nice. Exactly. I love it. I love it. There is in the novella that I'm on the last chapter revising, the one that I wrote during our 60-day novel challenge and during NaNoWriMo, there was a betrayal most foul. And I'm going to be honest, when I planned out that novella, I wasn't actually thinking about including this betrayal. I was just thinking that the bad guy was so proficient, so powerful that they just happened to be like they knew where they had to be, or they were good at tracking, or what have you. And then I put in that betrayal most foul, and it completely changed the story, and it made it so much better because it wasn't just the character going up against this force, right? They are still going up against the force, but now that evil, oppressive force also has someone working with them who betrayed our character, who hurt them so incredibly badly. Not just in that betrayal, but we learned that that had ripple effects into their backstory too. So I love betrayals. And there might even be a betrayal in this book that I'm writing. We'll see. And Tolver asking, what playlist am I listening to today? I'm really feeling this. It's been the same one I've been listening to for a while, but I'll share the link here from Spotify. It's a dark lo-fi chill playlist, and it's not actually the right mood for this, but it's become my go-to one so much that it just gets me in the writing zone. And so now I just kind of default to it. And the only negative thing about that is that I don't listen to lo-fi outside of writing or outside of like doing work. So when I look at my suggestions and like my Discover Weekly or whatever, it's all lo-fi now and not not the music that I want to listen to outside of it. Uh, oh, Rosalind, in this book, I have been really mean to a dog, which I know is probably a very bad idea. I have a minute left. One thing that I've said to my wife, that I've said to my friends, and that I will say now is that I've made like this pact with myself because I adore dogs. They are, it goes dogs and then people, except my wife. My wife, dogs, people, and but I've made a pact that a dog will never be harmed in my story because I could not write that. Like I can write some awful stuff, right? But I don't know. There's this block there, and I can't do it. So more power to you. I don't think I don't think it's a bad thing that you can do that. If that we were judged based on the things that we wrote about, then people wouldn't think very highly of me sometimes. But that's funny that that's just how it is. Okay. All right, we got some good chatting going on there. We have 10 seconds here until we start our last sprint of the day. So happy writing, everyone. Enjoy this last sprint, and I will see you all in 20 minutes. All right, everybody. That is the end of our third and final sprint for the day. How did everyone do? What were your totals this time around? Did you meet your goals? Let me know what happened. Rosalinda saying before for that scene with the dog, it was tough to write, but it all turns out okay, which I love. My better half grew up in a cat household, and by that I mean she had a cat, right? Whereas I grew up with dogs, and so I don't. She doesn't get my affinity for dogs, and I'll have to be like, let's watch Marley and Me, the 2004 movie with Owen Wilson that makes me cry every time, and she just doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. So whenever it comes to dogs, if it turns out okay, I'm happy. Shelly got 431 and Rosalinda got 326 and Sarah got 179. B got 617 this time. Excellent job. 1751 total for the day. 1576 total for Matulver. 394 for Susan. How much farther do y'all have to go for your current work in progress? Like after, if I take everything that I wrote in word sprints today and I pop it into Dabble, let's do that. I have 57,500 words, and I'm aiming for 80,000, maybe 75,000. So I'm looking at another 20 to 23,000 words before I hit my goal, which I'm excited for. And if I'm doing, about 2,000 words every time we do these sprints, then I'm looking at another 10 sprints and then I'm done. I'm pretty pumped for that. That's very encouraging, right? And that's why I like seeing how much is left. In the beginning of a manuscript, I like to see how much progress I've made. Towards the end of it, I like to see how much is left and how I can dissect that into manageable chunks so that I can be like, okay, this big project that I've been working hard on, I only need 10 more writing sessions and we're there. And in reality, that's 10 more writing sprints. That's one tomorrow and then 3 weeks of writing sprints and boom, I'm done. In 3 weeks, I'll be done this first draft. So exciting, right? That's exciting to me anyway. Oh, Rosalind, I love that your dog travels with you. Your kids are mad at you about being mean to her. Matalver, 3 more chapters till the end and 1 filler chapter. I love to see it. Rosalinda, always with the good deadlines. My deadline for this book is April 24th. So you're ready to be done. Excellent. That's 8 days away. You can do it. I love it. Matalver, I have major cutting after this. You're not prepared. Revising is an art, but revising is an important part of the storytelling process. Right? And I've said this before, so forgive me for the repetition if you've heard it, but creating a good storytelling is not the act of writing a first draft. That's just part of it. And so, yes, it's a lot of work, and yes, it's painful, and yes, it can feel tedious at times, but also celebrate how much better that cutting makes your story and how much improvement revisions do for this thing that's very important to you. Frame it that way. Apollo says hi from NJ. You'll never be without dogs and cats. I love it. Susan's got 55 to 60k left. You're getting there. Sarah saying you guys are on fire. You inspire me, and I love that. B's about halfway through. NJ's cat is sleeping next to you, just bored. And B starting chapter 8. Susan got to over 47,000 today. Love to see it. Okay, so you're almost halfway there, which is fantastic. Renee got 104 today, and it's over just under 174,000 words. That's a lot. Jams, I'm at 5,000 and doing a lot of outlining for this one. I love that too. And Renee's making life difficult in this chapter. A helpful side character is now much less helpful. Good. Complicate it. Make things harder and see what drama unfolds from that. Oh, thank you. Frame that. Someone screenshot that. NJ saying, if I made a shirt with Doug, Abby, and Hank on it, would you guys want one? I love the passion. I don't know if you're talking to me or to the rest of the chat here, but of course, I mean, we probably wear that. Abby actually just sent me a Dabble shirt that I didn't wear today because it's actually cold out and I'm wearing a sweater because it's cold, guys. I gotta be comfortable. But maybe next week I'll debut that shirt for us too. Not official merch, just something that she created. But maybe we'll get some Dabble merch. I know it's been asked for, and we want those No 0 Days merch. It's only a handful of us, so I'll keep that seed planted though. Be a coffee went down the wrong pipe. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me for these sprints. Thanks for writing your words alongside me. It's not just an opportunity for me to write, but I hope it keeps you accountable. It encourages you, and it just gets you closer to finishing that book or finishing your revisions or finishing your edits. Whatever it is, I'm glad that you were here with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye for now.